Ana Kasparian has left the left. My God, that literally no one could have seen coming. Holy. I suddenly see the flawed thinking of some of the left. I also witnessed their cruelty and hypocrisy in real time. These terrible traits that I had associated solely with my political opponents were obviously not exclusive to their tribe. I was stupid for ever thinking that was the case. That doesn't mean everyone on the left thinks or behaves in the way this small group of lunatics do. Far from it, but it does mean that there are factions and flaws on both sides of the aisle, and no one has a monopoly on truth. Then there was the insane reaction to one of my tweets in March of 2023. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This is true. Man, it's just another unfortunate, it's just another thing. I don't know what to say. People do this. People get like mind rotted. Basically, you have a bad experience with a group of people and then you decide to become the exact opposite politically. I understand why people do it. It's just kind of sad, I guess.
We got some juicy topics today. We're starting off with Destiny reacting to Ana Kasparian leaving the left officially. Destiny is losing his mind, and so is the rest of the left wing. Now that Ana Kasparian has announced that she officially has actually left the left wing behind, and I believe that Ana Kasparian will be leaving the Young Turks behind in general. And then I don't know if she's going to go off and do her own thing, or maybe she'll, start just join another media company. I don't know what she's going to do, but she's going to really start going after people like Hassan Piker, people like Destiny, people like Cenk Uygur. She's really going to start going after these people with no holds barred. So let's get into this video here where Destiny reacts and melts down at the fact that Ana Kasparian has officially, as you can see on the screen right there, left the left wing. Let's check this out.
Ana Kasparian has left the left. My God, that literally no one could have seen coming. Holy. You're right. I've changed. After Trump came onto the political scene, and especially after he was elected in 2016, the us versus them mentality immediately took shape. Anyone who refused to resist Trump was seen as a threat to the country, and I was fully on board with that mindset. It all felt righteous at first, but eventually, the tactics deployed to fight Trump became repetitive, boring, and ultimately fruitless. Polling shows that he has increased his support among Black and Latino voters, despite wall-to-wall coverage of his unsavory, racist, or bigoted remarks. Donald Trump has doubled his support among Black voters. What is doubling? From what to what? From 12 points to 21 points. From one poll to the next poll. A morning consult survey of 11,501 registered voters. Wait, why are we comparing what Trump's polling was in 2020 to 2024? What about like from 2016 to 2020?
Why would the polling from 2016 to 2020 matter than the more recent poll if we're talking about what's happening in this next election? Like, I don't know. I hate going in on Destiny so much because I don't think he's like one of the most bad faith people on the left. I think there's people a lot worse than Destiny. Like people like Hassan are a whole lot worse than Destiny. But at the same time, I do think he's bad faith at times. And he really does just, instead of like zooming out and trying to look at the facts, he lets his emotions get the best of him, especially in things like this. Like, why does it matter more what happened from 2016 to 2020 whenever the much more recent, like if we're worried about this election, we're not worried about the past, wouldn't it make more sense to look at the change from 2020 to 2024? Because you can't really blame people, right? Whether they're Black, white, Asian, who cares? You can't really blame people who are not really that well connected to politics on YouTube and stuff. They're just going about their normal lives. They're working, they have families to take care of. They can't afford to watch political YouTube videos all the time. So all they see is like viral tweets and Kamala Harris ads when they're watching NFL games and stuff like that, talking about how Donald Trump is racist and hates Black people and, hates women and all this stuff. So they buy into the lie. But then they elect Joe Biden based on these lies about Donald Trump, based on the lies that people like Destiny spread and people like Ana Kasparian used to spread. And they elect these idiots like Joe Biden. He's not even an idiot. The guy's brain just not even working anymore. And then they see how much worse off the country is. And now, based on the polls in 2020, Donald Trump has, you know, he has skyrocketed. He has almost doubled. It's not quite doubled, but he has doubled his support among black people because they saw that they got lied to, straight up lied to. And Destiny's trying to defend the lies here. And it's not going to work anymore, man.
In 2020, after Trump was president for 4 years, he had, among black moderates, his support was 8 points. In 2024, it's 19 points, but...
Because in 2020, that's when the lies ramped up the most because they were trying to win against Trump. And the only way to win against Trump is not by saying things that you're going to do. It's by saying how bad Donald Trump is. So the lies ramp up to 2020 when the election is. Obviously, dude, come on. Destiny knows this. He's smarter than this.
Are we only talking about moderates? Specifically, the poll found that Trump's support among black moderates and black conservatives has increased significantly, doubling among moderates. Well, hold on. Who would identify as a moderate? Wait, oh, this methodology is so questionable. Wait, do you understand the issue here? Like, imagine you have like imagine you have 100 voters who are undecided, and let's say that they call themselves moderate, and then let's say that you have let's say an election happens, a cycle goes on, and then that 100 group, let's say that shrinks by 90%. Let's say 90 of those people are like, I'm not moderate anymore. This is insane. I'm going to go be part of this party now. So you have 10 moderates left. Let's say of those 10 moderates, let's say like 8 of them are like, oh, you know, this Trump guy seems kind of cool. If before you had...
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
20 people that were cool with Trump out of 100, your support might be 20%. But if the moderates that you have left, you've only got 10 left, let's say a bunch left. Now let's say of those moderates, 8 support Trump. You went from 20 to 8, an absolute decrease in number, but as a percentage, you increased your percentages by 60-point increase, right? Now you have 80% support among moderates for Trump. I'm not saying that this kind of polling is bad, okay? Just to be clear, I'm not saying this is bad or the data is worthless. I'm just saying be aware of what you're polling on. I'm curious, what is the actual percentage support? Well, to be fair, actually, this one sounds like... I wonder what this means when it says supporting Trump. Hold on.
Oh my goodness, man. This is just... It's so like... It's so cope. It's so cope. Like, he's like now trying to get to the root definition of the word support. Like, what do you mean? What does it mean supporting Trump, dude? Like, look up the definition of support and then move on. He's trying so hard to cope and say that, oh, black people can't support Trump. There's no way that the support doubled in percentage. Like, it's so cope, man.
I suddenly see the flawed thinking of some of the left. I also witnessed their cruelty and hypocrisy in real time. These terrible traits that I had associated solely with my political opponents were obviously not exclusive to their tribe. I was stupid for ever thinking that was the case. That doesn't mean everyone on the left thinks or behaves in the way this small group of lunatics do. Far from it, but it does mean that there are factions and flaws on both sides of the aisle, and no one has a monopoly on truth. Then there was the insane reaction to one of my tweets in March of 2023. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This is true. Man, that's just another unfortunate, it's just another thing. I don't know what to say. People do this. People get like mind rotted. Basically, you have a bad experience with a group of people and then you decide to become the exact opposite politically. I understand why people do it. It's just kind of sad, I guess. I don't know how you...
That's not at all what's happening. Like, this happened back in 2023. Ana Kasparian has had many bad instances of people on the left trying to cancel her. Her own fans on the Young Turks, Ana Kasparian's own fans try to cancel her all the time, basically every week, because she has one stance every week that's not super left-wing, not super woke. And then whenever she has that one stance that's just a bit of common sense, just every once in a while, just throwing in a tad of common sense here and there on the Young Turks, shutting down Cenk Uygur every once in a while, going after people like Hassan Piker every once in a while, they lose their minds. And then when that's happened over a period of like 10 years, or I guess it's really been like 5-ish years since Anna actually started to come around, you just get pushed out. I mean, that's exactly what happened to Joe Rogan. That's exactly what happened to Russell Brand. It's like they just try to sprinkle some common sense in here and there, and whenever you do that, you get absolutely blasted and they try to cancel you. Not just, you know, in Joe Rogan's case, the mainstream media was trying to cancel him, and they still are. People like Destiny are always going after Joe Rogan, saying how stupid he is, you know? Whenever that happens over a long period of time, you start to just realize that, oh, these people are just actually insane. Like, they are lunatics, truly. And that's just what Ana Kasparian has realized. And I don't think Ana Kasparian is a right winger or anything like that, but I damn sure wouldn't lump her in with people like Destiny. I wouldn't lump Ana Kasparian in with the left anymore. And I don't think she would lump herself in there either. I don't know why you would want to.
Prevent a person like this from flipping because, yeah, it's dumb. Stupid. You kind of predicted this before. I mean, it's not a hard prediction to make. It happens. If you harass the fuck out of somebody, eventually they're going to look elsewhere. All hell broke loose after I posted those words. Most friends in left-wing media didn't bother reaching out privately to discuss their disagreement with my personal preference. Instead, many self-described socialists took it upon themselves to profit from conflict by publicly attacking me with monetized videos. Okay, I mean, we do news and punditry. Everything we do is monetized. Come on. A smaller leftist YouTube show put out 5 separate videos skewering me about the tweet, while conveniently erasing the advocacy I had done on behalf of the transgender community throughout my career. They even went as far as drawing a link between my tweet and trans suicides, which sadly wasn't the most unhinged outcome of the debacle. TYT's volunteer YouTube chat moderators quit over the tweet, and someone reported me to Human Resources. An on-air transgender contributor even resigned from the company after being urged by online mobs and leftist shows to do so. Curious that not one of those shows hired her after she took their advice. Ha! I never apologized for the tweet, and I never will. That whole experience forced me to come to terms with the intolerance on the left, and it allowed me to publicly reject the ideological shackles that kept my world small and less informed. Today, I'm less certain and more naive, curious, than I was 4 years ago. I've made humiliating mistakes while covering political news because I was previously unwilling to consider or understand the perspective of Americans who vote differently from me. What to expect from the now unaligned? I'm hungry for dialogue, a space for in-depth analysis, and a judgment-free zone. That is what I plan to do here. Every week, I will provide subscribers with 2 to 3 written pieces that dig deeper into the big stories of the week, with the intention of finding truth rather than promoting a political side. Video posts sharing details on breaking news and political events. A weekly podcast beginning in November that will feature long-form discussions and debates with guests from all walks of life. Very nice. And engagement with me in the comments section for paid subscribers. Join me and be part of the dialogue.
Basically, what I read, how this reads to me, is that she's branching off. She's found somewhat of a loophole and started the Substack thing where people can pay her to be part of her separate thing from the Young Turks. And, you know, I've been saying this for a while. A lot of people have been disagreeing with me, but I think it's very obvious to me that Ana Kasparian is just done with the Young Turks. Like, I did a video yesterday where she checked Cenk Uygur on blatant lies about Donald Trump, and then he comes back with like a little bit of a meltdown, and she's just like, all right, man, just have it. Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, she doesn't even care to try to check him or correct him because she knows that he's just unhinged. And like, I don't think Destiny is as bad as Cenk Uygur, but Destiny's also falls in that category where it's just like, it's not even worth it to really argue against him because they're just so unhinged, and they have this fan base that just, you know, that it reinforces the way that they think. The problem with this, I forgot the actual scientific term for it, but you make content, and like, let's say for Destiny's example, he makes, or let's use Cenk Uygur. It's a much better example. He makes left-wing content, right? Then the left-wingers go watch that content and they really support it. They're like, I'm so glad you're making this left-wing content. We need more voices like this, which causes Cenk to make even further left-wing content because he's like, oh, positive reinforcement for this left-wing content. I need to make more left-wing content and go even further left. And then that feedback loop keeps going and pushing him further and further left to where Ana Kasparian's like, you don't even actually have these thoughts anymore. This is just, it's audience capture is the actual term for it. It's just audience capture. Like, audience capture has pushed you this far to the left to where you don't actually have common sense anymore. So I think Ana Kasparian is just dejected, and she's checked out of the Young Turks, and she's checked out of the woke left for sure. She also had this tweet the other day that went like pretty mega viral. Let me see if I can pull this up properly. Honestly, it drives me crazy when Dems allege that unemployment rose by tens of millions under Trump when they know it was due to COVID shutdowns Dems supported and wanted to extend. And obviously, as they do, the left wing absolutely melted down over this. So you can see, wait, when did you change teams? Ana Kasparian responds, and she doesn't say I didn't change teams. She responds and says, truth matters. This guy says, you are an embarrassment, Anna. The trans issue wrecked what little brains you had left. You know damn well how Trump handled or mishandled COVID led to it, but keep your right-wing grift going. How long till you do a show with Dave Rubin? She responds to that, and she says, you're in a cult. Basically saying, I am not in this cult anymore. You are in a cult. And she's completely correct. I'm glad Ana Kasparian came around. Like I said, I don't think she's right-wing. She even kind of said that in the Substack that Destiny just read off there and coped really hard to try to disprove what she was saying, but it's not much you can really disprove, right? But she even said, I think the title of the Substack was Independent and something else. So she's not a right-winger. She's not a Republican or anything. She's an independent voter. Guaranteed she's voting for Kamala Harris still. But it's good to see that she's actually calling out the left on their BS. Let me know in the comments what you think about Ana Kasparian officially leaving the left and Destiny reading that Substack and trying his best to cope and say that Ana Kasparian is not correct. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Ana Kasparian leaving the left and Destiny losing his mind over it in the comments.